Welcome everyone to another episode of Success Builders. Hope you're all doing well today. Today I've got a special guest with us. It's Loise HeartHenley. How are you doing today, Louise?
I'm great, and thanks for having me. It's great to be
Absolute
here.
pleasure. No, it's an absolute pleasure. So, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Oh, that's so cool. Actually, um, Denmark, I've heard is such a beautiful country. I've never been there, but I believe it's got low crime and it's extremely beautiful. Um, yeah. Tell us a few things about Denmark that we may not know.
Well, we have the oldest amusement park in the world called
Okay.
Tivoli. And
Okay.
actually, Walt Disney came to visit in the early days of Tivoli and when Walt Disney lived. And he got the idea of Disney World uh, after he visited Copenhagen and Tivoli.
Oh, so interesting. So Disney really originated from Denmark. So he basically took their idea and made it his own thing. Okay. That's
Exactly.
so cool. That's so cool. No, it's a lovely place. It's actually one of my destinations I'd love to visit sometime. Um, so So I live in New Zealand, and I'm a fan of safe and peaceful places because I've got kids and a family. So, I hear it's extremely safe and a very nice country to live in
It
Denmark.
is.
Yes.
We're one of those countries that when we're going to a cafe, our kids can sleep outside in their carriage,
Yeah, I saw
and no
that. Yeah, that's
one's.
crazy.
Yeah, it's very safe and very family oriented.
Yes. I believe it's actually good for the kids to be outside, in the cold air, and that is actually good for them, I believe. Um,
It
yeah.
is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Hey, so Louise, I understand that you have a project called Magnetic Relationship, and you are also a relationship coach. So, we'd love to learn more about that. So, take us on a bit of a journey on how you came into this, where you started, and what you're doing now.
Yeah. Well, my journey has been long. It's actually. Is it okay if I share a bit about my background?
Yeah, can you do anything you like?
Um, Well, I'm a mom of four girls, been in several relationships, and all of my life I've been very intuitive. Like I could feel other people's emotions, see what's going on inside of them. So I've always, yeah, been very intuitive. So I early on I discovered behavioral patterns pretty easily in other people and where they come from, their subconscious mind, their childhood, from their mom or dad. So it was pretty easy just for me to pinpoint and spot where limiting beliefs come from and behavioral patterns. That made me kind of a weird kid because my parents didn't know how to handle me because I asked these weird questions. And and while I was growing up, my parents had a very unhealthy relationship, and it was filled with sarcasm, manipulation, abuse, and I grew up carrying the responsibility for my mom's emotions, mood, her whole well-being. So I was the one that should save her when she was going through tough times. And that made me really rebellious as a teenager. And it led to one unhealthy relationship after another. And when I was 21, I became a mom for the first time. And in that unhealthy relationship, I felt confused, alone. I had a victim mentality. I felt not good enough, carried around a lot of shame, feeling unworthy. And he told me that every day that I was lazy, ugly, and yeah, bad mom. And when you hear those things a lot of times, you begin to believe it.
Right, I understand. Yeah.
So my 20s was actually filled with this chaos of emotions, and I knew that I couldn't keep being in this unhealthy relationship, but I was very afraid to be a single mom. And but when I finally turned 30, I stopped and took a good look at my life, because then I had two girls, and I asked myself that question: if I wanted to teach my girls to settle for anything less than they deserved. If I thought that they would deserve a relationship that was unhealthy because their dad and me were role models, and that just broke my heart. So I chose to get a divorce. And because I wanted to teach my girls that a relationship can be beautiful and can be healthy and can be filled with integrity and passion and compassion. So I began to dissect all of these emotions that I had, that I was going through this divorce. So over the past 2+ decades, I just found and refined the key steps that transformed my approach to love and connection. So now I help women to align with these principles so they can attract the relationship that they truly want, because I think that everybody deserves a relationship of their dreams. So that's actually how my system, uh, I made my system, because I've been through all of those steps myself, and I could see some patterns, behavioral patterns from me and from my ex, that was that needed adjustment. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, oh, that's such a heartfelt story. So sorry that you you had to go through those things, but you know, everything happens for a reason, and you've come out
Mm,
stronger, and you're now in a situation where you're able to help others. I mean, I've gone through things in life as well, um, and through going through those trials and tribulations, I've managed to use that as wisdom to impart into somebody else who's in similar situations. So um, that makes you uniquely qualified to do what you're doing and to help a lot of people. So you know, I do have a lot of respect for you, and um, you know, I really support what you're doing, because um, to look in the eye what you went through, and be able to tell people about it and tell them how to avoid that is actually really special. So thank you for doing that. Yeah.
you're welcome. And it's so important, because we are role models to our children. And what do we want to teach our children? Do we want to teach them to settle, or um, to have a healthy relationship? And it comes down in finances as well. Do we want to be responsible for our finances, so we can teach our children to be responsible for their finances when they grow up? So it's, who do we want to be? Who do we want our children to see as role models?
I totally agree. I mean, we have four kids as well. Three of them are girls, so I
Mm.
know what it's like to have a predominantly girl household.
A lot
It's
of
a,
hormones.
it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. But you know, it's really wonderful having four kids. And yeah, I mean, one of my biggest fears is that you know, they will grow up and get the wrong partner. Um,
Mm.
I've been really fortunate that I've been with my wife for over 20 years now, together and married. I don't even know now, like 17 years or something. And I've been very fortunate to have found the right person, and you know, to have this relationship with her and have the you know, our four kids. And I just always worry that they won't find someone like I managed to find. And our eldest daughter's actually found a really nice guy. She's a teenager, and she's dating at the moment. And
Mm.
um, the first guy she dated is actually really nice. He's a very soft guy, and you know, very thoughtful, good manners. So you know, that's one of the things I always wished for my kids, and so I got three more to work through and to,
Yeah.
you know, get to that stage. And above everything, above wealth or anything else, like the most important thing I think is a relationship and someone to spend your life with, because um, you know, money you can always make,
Mm,
but to find the right person is actually harder than making money. I mean, I believe personally.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I didn't actually date much of my high school career, and probably dated for the first time at 18, and then I met my wife. Was the second person I dated, and I was in my 20s. So, um, yeah, it's not easy to find the right person. So, um, how does your coaching program look? Just walk us through some of the elements that you touch on, and how someone gets involved in the program.
Well, I have some steps that my clients go through, and the first step I call anger, because it's so important that self-love is very important. If you don't feel worthy or you don't love yourself, you will attract a partner that doesn't respect you. And it's so important that when you cultivate and you're getting to learn self-love not just in your head but in your heart, you become a match to a totally different person that you have dated before. So um, self-acceptance is very important, like confidence in yourself and being content, being happy with who you are is really, really important, because a lot of us have had previous relationships and we know what we have had before and we want to have something different the next time around for us who are having a divorce. So, and if you want something else, you have to do something else. So the first step is like really, really anchor self-love so you can just see how awesome you are yourself. The next step I call release, because you have some old patterns, you have limiting beliefs that need to be released. Um, you have to let go of the old emotional baggage from past relationships and rejections. And I have some great exercises that can are really easy, and like I like exercises that are hands-on and easy and you just go through them and you can feel the release inside of you. And um, I have a great exercise I call like old rejections you have to release. Resentment is another emotions you have to release. So I guide my clients through those steps as well. And then you have to redefine. That's the third step. And that is, I think that's is amazing step, because you have to redefine what you want. You have to be clear of what it is that you want, because a lot of us knows what we don't want, but what do we actually want is and more important questions, I think, for us to ask ourselves. So, yeah, just to get clear on what you truly want in, in a partner and in a relationship, and how you want to feel in that relationship. Um, then we have another step called embrace. It's just to step into your energy of love, your energy of compassion, and owning up to that magnetic partner you want to have. And the last step is open yourself up to receive, because a lot of women are amazing at giving. We give, we serve, we please other people, but we have a tendency not, it's not easy for us to receive because when we receive something, we often believe that there's a catch or there is something, a hidden agenda or something else. But just to receive can be a tricky one. So that's an important step as well.
Fantastic. And how does it look like? h- what is the format of your coaching sessions? Is it like online via Zoom? Is it one-to-one or is it group setting? Tell us a bit about what that the experience looks like.
At the moment, I'm doing one-to-ones, and it's with Zoom calls, and you get a workbook and sheets, and everything is just like done for you. Um, so we go through each steps, and I'll guide you through them, and I have sessions each week with a client so they can have a Q&A and I can work on the limiting beliefs with them. And because it's very important, they feel we're on the same page all through
Yes.
the steps. Um, and I like to be the safety net that can catch people. That's why I'm at the moment doing it one-to-one.
Yes, and it creates that safe space as well that they can talk to you about what they're going through and not have to, um, share it with too many people.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
exactly. And I have just created, a few weeks ago, I just created a Facebook group so people
okay,
can join where I put up guides and exercises and doing lives and just tips and tricks. And people can ask questions there as well, and I will answer them. So just
great.
to create a community for women that are going through the same thing as you are or a client are.
Cool. What I'll do is I'll include the group link in the description so that the viewers can join it. And as well as any other relevant links, like if you have a website or anything else or your profile link, I'll put all that in the description so the viewers don't have to worry about writing
Mm.
anything down while they're listening to this. So yeah, no, that's really amazing that you're helping women. Now, question, are you helping women only or also men as well? Or,
At the moment, it's just women. The Facebook group is just for women, and that is because I wanted to create that safe space. But I have I, I have been cooking up something else because I'm really good at translating women language into men. So women often don't say what they mean. You have to have a code. It's just like a woman code when they speak. So and men have a tendency to not understand that code.
yes.
So maybe that will come down the line, but at the moment it's just for women.
There should be an app for that. There should be like an app that translates women for
Exactly.
men.
I saw a comedian the other day on, I think it was on TikTok or something like that. And he was just like, oh, I would love an app that could translate everything that my girlfriend is saying. So when she has, one day she was going to buy tea and she called me and she talked about her girlfriend she met at the store. And after 20 minutes, she said, oh, by the way, I haven't got the tea. And he said, I would love to put that conversation into an app and just said, I didn't buy tea instead of all the other things. And then I could write back, oh, okay, we'll find it tomorrow. And translate that into women language. Oh, I'm so sorry that you couldn't get the tea. Well, every time we drink tea, I think on the first time we met together and all those fluffy stuff that women like. So he would
Yeah,
like an app like that. Yeah,
so
that would be
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
would be. Okay, so I've got a question for you about women, right? And
Mm.
so, um, you know, is it true that you know, when a woman goes to her man and talks about some problems she's having, is she looking for understanding or is she looking for a solution? Is she just looking for someone to listen, or does she want actually a solution, or is the solution gonna like irritate her?
The solution is not always the right answer. I know you, a lot of you men are fixers. You
Yes.
want to fix things for your woman, and that is an amazing quality, but sometimes we just want you to listen. And
Okay.
then we can get all of it out of our head, and then it's like pretty much done. If we can't communicate to you just what's on our mind, then it's getting really difficult to get sleep because when the house is quiet and you're going to bed as a woman, all of these things pop up in your mind again.
Okay.
And sleep is not the first priority.
Yeah. So it's basically like talking through something is like processing it basically and having
It is,
someone as a
it is.
sounding board to process through. Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly. Women process through communication.
Okay, that's nice. That's actually should be a quote. Woman process through communication.
Yeah.
Um, now, I'm going to ask you another question. Let me see what I can ask you now. Okay, so if you could think of one thing that most women wish men knew and understood, okay, what do you think that one thing would be? Like one thing
Hmm.
that men should get and should understand that currently they don't really understand.
Oh, there's so many things. Do I
Or
have
just
to
choose
narrow
one.
it down?
Just choose one or two, or even three. It's up to you.
Um, no, a lot of
With
women have have I call it a pleaser gene.
hmm
It's just a gene in their DNA that likes to please people, serve people. And we have, us women have a tendency to, when we're getting into a relationship, just to forget ourselves. So it would
hmm
be so amazing to have a partner to remind us that we have to do something for ourselves as well. We do a lot of things that the kids, groceries, dinner, maybe you have a job, and sometimes we forget ourselves. So to have a partner that just remind us, you know, you've worked so hard this week, this Friday, you can take a couple of hours, do whatever you like. I'll take care of everything else. That would be amazing.
Okay, that's cool. So basically, just giving her the space for her to be herself and just unplug from all the other hats that she wears, like being a mom or being a wife or being whatever. Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
And to prioritize herself. Women are not good at prioritizing themselves.
yeah,
Most of the women that I meet.
yeah, yeah. Something that
Yeah.
my wife does, which is actually quite a good thing, is that she goes to gym every day. She has a gym
Mm.
routine. So 2 hours almost every day, at least 6 times a week, is for gym. So it'll either be early morning or at nighttime once the kids are sleeping. She would take 2 hours and go to gym, and that's her time. And I think
That's
that's
her time.
yeah, and that's quite healthy. Um, Sometimes I would bug her and send her text messages. Hey, the girls are being difficult. I don't know what to do.
Don't send her a text. Deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, but
It's her
other than that,
time.
yeah, exactly. But I try not to do that too much. But like
Mm.
now and then, I'm like, ah.
Well,
So
you have three girls, so there's a lot of hormones. I don't know how old are they?
okay, so
Your
the two
children.
ones, the two younger ones, sorry, they are under the age of 5. So they are, you know, the one's turning 5, the other one's going to turn 4 next year, and the eldest is 14 currently, and our son is 13. So we have a bit of a mix. We have like a 10-year age gap between the eldest two and the youngest two.
Yeah.
Um, that was because we moved to New Zealand from South Africa. So that's why I talked about the safety aspect in the beginning.
Mm.
So initially we were not comfortable having more than two kids that we could closely watch and take care of
Yeah.
in South Africa. But when we came to New Zealand, everything is much more freer and safer, like Denmark. So we,
Mm.
felt that now, it'll be easier and safer to extend our family. So that's why we did that. Yeah,
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 amazing. So
yeah.
when you have a 14-year-old teenage girls, there's a lot of hormones. Uh, I bet you have seen that or experienced that.
Yeah, it's not actually too bad. The young ones are actually a handful. They're really difficult. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, yeah, yeah. So yes, girls definitely interesting. They each have their own little quirks and personalities, and that obviously, um, gets refined as they get older, and each one is going to be different. So,
Mm.
as a man, we really have a tough time trying to figure out how to navigate the mind of a woman, even a small woman.
Well, they can be very strong-headed
Yes.
and stubborn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So no, so like what you're doing is amazing, and you know, I also see that there might be some opportunities for you, not only in just um relationship coaching, with a man and woman, but also family relationship coaching, because there's also male and female dynamics within
Mm.
parent and child, like I've just said, and maybe some parents don't really know how to um, do the best for their child, or how to break through to them or reach them. And that could be another thing that you could potentially explore, because it's all relationships at the end of the day. Uh,
It is.
yeah.
And it's
So
and teens are very they can be a handful, but also very it's an exciting like topic or area to work with because they have to find themselves and define themselves and that can be a lot of that could be difficult for parents to handle.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think finding yourself is so important. I'm still trying to find myself every day, and I mean, going through doors and leveling up and
Yeah.
improving who I am. I mean, the me of 6 months ago is not the me of today. Um, and 6 months ago, I wasn't even doing this podcast. And here I am, I don't even know what it is now that I recorded 22 episodes, I think now, and speaking to amazing people like yourself,
Mm.
and
Thank you.
being able to hold my own in the conversation, whereas before, I would never have thought of doing this publicly, outside of business meetings and things, but I never would have thought of putting myself out there and actually running a podcast. So it just shows how we can progress and how we can um, improve over a short space of time, as much as 3 or 6 months. But sometimes we
Mm.
just need the right coach or the right people to be surrounded with to give us those instructions, right? Um, One of the coaches I interviewed said something like super profound, and what he said to me is that most of the time people are like inside of the jar, and when they're inside the jar, they can't read the instruction labels on the outside, so they need
Mm.
someone on the outside to read it to them, right?
Yeah.
And so that to me was quite profound, is that we are too much inside our lives to be able to see the instructions for our lives of what we should do, what is the best way of doing things, how to approach relationship or whatever. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Exactly, and it's difficult to take yourself out of the equation because you have all these emotions and all these limiting beliefs running at the same time. So it can be very difficult to take yourself out of the equation and see everything or what's going on in the situations from like a bird perspective. So So
Yeah.
that can, and sometimes it's helpful to get help outside from the outside. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe that's why, like, in some countries where they have arranged marriages, sometimes they actually work because you have third parties who see what you don't see and they kind of like help guide you to your perfect match. I'm not saying it's always perfect, but I'm saying in some cases, um, you know, when you're young, you don't really know what's good for you or who's good for you, but your parents have had that life experience and they may know a bit better. So, that's why, arranged marriages do work, I guess. Not that I've had any experience with that, but I'm just saying from what I've seen.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think it's all about energy and what your perspective are and your expectations when you go into a relationship. Sometimes we we go into a relationship because we're running for something, not
Hmm.
because you really, really want that relationship, but it's better than what you're running from. So,
Mm.
so, but arranged marriages, well, I think some are lucky and some doesn't work. It's just
Yeah.
like if they're not arranged, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and so, um, in closing, do you have any final message or advice that you would like to impart to the viewers?
Yeah, it's just if you want something else in your relationship or in your next relationship, you have to do something else. And the first thing or the best advice I can give is be really, really clear of what you want in your next partner. Um, it's so important be to know what you want in that relationship. And I made like um, I wrote down what I wanted in my magnetic match, like qualities and values. So be really clear of those and what you want in your next relationship.
That's really good advice. Thank you for that. And thank you so much for being on the show. And we wish you all the success with your project. And
Thank you.
to all the viewers out there, please do reach out to Louise with all the links that I've placed in the description. And do get help because navigating relationships in this day and age is going to be quite tricky. It's not going to be like it was many years ago for
Mhm.
me. It's there's a lot of uh, th there's a lot of factors, a lot of distractions, and a lot of things that can go wrong nowadays. So yeah, this is probably one of the most important um, instructions you can probably receive now because relationships can make or break your life. Really, they can.
Mm.
So, thanks for tuning in again. And I'll leave you with our usual slogan to dream big and build bigger. Till next time. Bye.